Dexter. Glory to God. Praise Eloel. You know, she giving, the world another chance to repent and get right and save well. I come today, make a recording. Cause there's a couple of things that, you know, must be expressed, not exactly, not entirely popular, given the nature of it, but necessary, for my preservation. As far as like in regards to distortion, now understand this: the purpose of the gospel, you know, is salvation. We speak we speak of the light and embrace the light, illumination. Like casting, pulling down all vain imaginations and as well as false arguments and things. Through the the weapons that God given us, not physical weapons but spiritual weapons, and that's the main priority. The main goal is not to save. Like we can't save anybody. Only the Lord has the power to save. But we can point, anyone towards the cross. In the gospel. That direction. Because that's the direction to go. And I wanted to bring light to a certain dark piece of distortion. That I find is pretty. It's uncomfortable. Because what it does is it leaves a curse that should not be present over. It's like a cloud that's cast on, in that inadvertently or is intentionally, and it's done because this is what the one of we're living in a time now, where these times are not, you know, what we used to. We're living in a day and age where is waxing more and more. We see darkness, deception, cunning, and all of that. And I just want to, clear up something, that really I shouldn't have to, but due to, the enemy's constant, distortion, in order to like, it's just a matter, it's war tactics, it's spiritual warfare. So of course, the enemy, which is Satan, wouldn't be above using physical war strategies against, individuals, or, using those he can, because that's how he works. God works through people. Satan works through people. But I did want to, put this out. Okay, everything that I build myself on, everything from my contribution to my identity, the transparency, all of that has been towards the glorification of the Most High, and then the expression of myself, as according to, as it, it's like in the same manner and fashion, that's it's not something that's alien to what's already, have been, like the concept and nature of expression had been done for decades, centuries, and so, good, bad, ups, downs. What I want to do is bring like to clarify this matter because there's a false perspective, tossed upon me and my name, as if I'm misrepresented and distorted continuously as being an individual, that's like a looming presence or entity, that's synonymous with the likes of a dictator or the likes of a tyrant or the likes of a bully. This false, reality that's been strategically implemented and organized, and distortion that's heaved against me for the premature destruction of my flesh and so or just the destruction of my legacy, or well, who knows, which is unacceptable, because not only is it inaccurate, and it's not true, but it also hinders many that could have that have been inspired, and could potentially be inspired by my my life. It hinders them from the power God invested in me, that I could point them towards their own salvation. I'm antagonized wrongfully. I'm being antagonized wrongfully, and now it's to a point where it's widely known. And so it's just a matter of see now it's like a huge play on the concept of people having the power, because people have the power, like as a whole people, the people have the power to make decisions and things. And so it's like that whole concept is being played on, like on, I don't know, I think a higher level. I think it's spiritual, that's the highest, you can go. And and this concept is being played on in the sense that it's like it's since the people can make decisions for the good, they also can make decisions for the bad. So if anyone, even the people themselves, or something, or any entity or whatever, could change the trajectory and of the people, to opposition, to be in opposition of a movement, a cause, or even a person, or a being, then that would create retinue, and that retinue would be, like it'll be widely accepted. It's group thing, like it'll be accepted anyway, just because of the amount that's for it, or the amount that's with it, the amount of souls that's in approval of it. And so that will move many to come against, and plan destroy. And then it makes it right, it's quote unquote right or legal to do something that is immoral, unethical, or illegal, you know. And so that it's like it's a form of validation. And so, to make a long story, like just to get to the essentials, it's like, if the people are under attack, like say if a people are being bullied, or a section or anyone is being bullied or attacked, there is, and if there's something that's not being done, like if there's something that can't be done, not that it's not being done, but if there's a situation where nothing can be done about it, then it's like the people they will form things themselves, in order to defend or combat on behalf of the people, because the people are not, what I'm saying, they not getting whatever help they need or something. So it's like as if they were being terrorized, then they would have to have some way of defending themselves against what's causing their terrorism. Now, the funny thing about this is, like, when I apply it to my situation, my life, it's a flipped scenario, and that flipped scenario is currently and presently a part of something that's larger, that's been heaved against yours truly. And see, that's the thing, because my question is, I can understand, when somebody can form something, like when someone any can move on behalf of the people, who feel as though there's a threat, and then there's, like they're being, like there's, bullying or something that of the nature, that's causing, turmoil, or that's causing grief in our mind, or like just distress. Now my thing is, what I'm saying, if that's happening to the people, and that's making you decide, and making someone decide, okay, something has to be done about this. So we're gonna, I'm gonna do something about this. My thing is, okay, the same argument that the people presented, to you, you know, if that same argument was long being presented before they presented it to you by the person that that, or the entity or the being that's so called, doing this bullying or whatever, then where was you, or where are you when, you know doing, what you saying you're gonna do? Like, where were you when that was the situation? Why is it so, relentless success, and to, so aggravated, like to the point, when when it's in that way than it was when it was in this way. You feel me? And that's like it's like a form of it's not right. You know, it's something crooked about that picture. You know what I'm saying? It's something like that. That scenario. There's something shady about that situation. You know, because like why is it biased or one sided as it is? You know, and see, and that's what I'm seeing, and that's what's not, that is not whole, it's not complete, and it's slanted. You know, and things like it, like when things are slanted, God is not in it, and if God is not in it, then it's all of Satan. You know, and then if it's all of Satan, there's no worries because God go protect his investments one way or another. You know, but and that's my thing. Like, why when it's when it's perceived to be one way, because look, think about it like this: if we are, say, if there's a coalition or alliance formed, and it's, like, say, if somebody decide they're going to form something, as a means of protecting another, then there's order, and there has to be order and construction, like, upon the foundation of it, and so why would that be forsaken for the destruction of anyone, in the first place, because a house divided cannot fall. So it's like it's not a natural situation here, it's not a natural thing. It's 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 a supernatural hatred and a supernatural evil that's going on, that's taking place, because it's not fair, it's not right at all. It's not fair, it's not right. It's like someone wait to have a reason to destroy. Because I remember back in the day, before, things were, well, I can't say before because it was a lot of persecution then, but at the time I was like, I didn't, what I'm saying, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know, what to do, because I never been in that kind of situation before. Like, as far as like the amount of word curses and things that were being heaved at me and my contribution, I know I wasn't, I knew it wasn't in its wholeness yet and everything. So I knew I had a lot of growing to do, spiritually, but I was on the right track. So, but why, why should any, aspect of that reality be taken, extorted, or whatever for the, and it's weird because it's like, it's not nothing that I haven't already said before. The persecution, is outrageous. It's outrageous, and the thing about it is, me with the prophetic anointing God gave me, like, I can see everything snowballing into what it's ultimately gonna be. It's like all the normalizing. There's outrageous, things that's taking place, that's happening right now. That if it would have happened years ago, what I'm saying, it would have been like it would have been like I don't even know how to describe it. Like, if certain things that's happening now would have happened years ago, it would have been an outrage. It would have been so shocking, and not always. I ain't talking, strictly a negative or bad things, but I mean, it would have been something that just awe inspiring. But now, after the normalization, something is happening and taking place right now, and it's going right over people's heads. It's going right over the heads of the people. And then, and as far as like opposition being about me, it's not going over the heads of the people. It's just like Satan is in stuff, man. It just don't care. It's That's what it is. It's a matter of a not caring. It's like, it's fine when things are destroying and chatting away at me, but in the case when it's when I when I display or manifest any rigidity, or standing firm, or me doing what I'm naturally going to do anyway, because my strength is in God, then it's like it's a board. It's as if sometimes it seems as if that it's it's so, I can't even find the words to describe it honestly. Like it's a abstract concept, man. But I got all the ingredients right here, you know. And there's a lot now at this point in time that I'm facing that I should not be facing or going through. That as far as humans, human rights and things. And that's not to mention the evil that's coming. There's a massive sheet of darkness and evil coming just because of the furtherance of the gospel from this particular vessel God decided to use. And mixed with the potential of the talent and what can potentially be done, then that's also a factor in the intensity of the persecution. And so knowing that, and the celebrity nature, it's as if, you know, knowing, that in the natural realm, in a physical realm, the danger that something like that would pose, for, and I'm talking now in terms of, in subjective terms of just being a human, and the rights that come along with, humanity. And, being in a position like that, and, there's also numerous attempts and things that's been made on individual life in the past and stuff like that, then that would tell one that that's something that that deserves a little more attention. That because just because and it's not nothing different as far as that concept is concerned. That's not any different than other people and things that's been at the mountaintop or whatever throughout years, man, for decades and decades. That's a common knowledge. But when you live in a godly life, you know certain things you don't want to embrace, certain things you don't choose to embrace, certain things you don't desire to embrace, because for God you live and for God you shall transform, you know and the sin. And it's a lot to digest, man, because then you find yourself, and there's so many different pieces, man. Like, one thing about it, when God sent his messages in the earth, he sent them to the people. He sent them because it's the souls of the people that God wants to save. And because Satan is equally working, twice as hard, or trying to work just as hard, as to God, working just as hard as God to destroy God's creation as God is trying to save them. And by being on the earth, it's like a level playing field and an even kill, because God has made a covenant and a promise, since the Old Testament days in the Bible, to our forefathers, that he wouldn't just violate earth. He gave man dominion over the earth, so he keeps that promise. And rather than him just coming to earth and doing whatever he wants, he works through humans, in the earth, so he's keeping his promise. But that's something that Satan exploits and takes advantage of course. And he's Satan doing the same thing, so it's a war between those two right now. And and it's all, it depends on us, man. Like, it depends on us. And when God sent us, it depends on humans. And it's, like, we all have free will. And when God sent his messages in the earth, it's to the people, because that's who he's trying to save. You know, I just, throughout the years, God has taught me adjustment, and able to just being able to, he what God specializes in, which falls in alignment to his perfect ultimate will and plan, is he gives us, as human beings are very resilient creatures, I mean, just looking at through history all the way to now, the things that's, we're resilient creatures, usually and normally, but it's only with God's help, and his mercy, his grace. And now we coming into a time now, where it's not a time, it's the time, It's to the point where that the things and the prophecies and everything that was waited on is many gone, gone away from the earth, for centuries, for centuries. And they wanted to see these times, and they prophesied about these times. And we're in those times right now. You could tell, like, it's just like things are just like it's just getting like to a point where things make no sense. And it's like not only does it make no sense, it's okay that it don't make no sense. You know, it's like it's been normalized to things that's outrageously ridiculous that would have been outrageously ridiculous years ago is now, acceptable, and everything is just, in its fire, you know. And it's the weirdest thing. It's the darkest times. These are the birth pains. The Lord is coming. The Lord is coming. And he's coming very, very, very soon. And this is all the proof. This is all the proof. I received threats, inadvertent threats. Recently, threats of arson, of my establishments and or my dwelling and all types of different things for doing nothing but speaking up for myself and standing up for myself when no one else would, you know, when I had no other help, when I'm being, when terrorism come and, and nobody seems as though they can do anything about it, and then I wrote about it and write about it. And then, and then I'm being inadvertent. It's like it's to the point now where it's so crazy to where like it gets bolder. Like never before in my life. Like I remember when I was, like when I first started out, not long after, even after that point, when I was just I didn't like it wasn't like to the point I first started out, but I had been in it for a little while, as far as, the walk, the spiritual walk and journey with the Lord. And my art form, my craft, and my passion, and it was to a point, where there was, and it's the same situation now. There is no cause for any curses, there is no cause for any curses. Curses mean word curses, slanders, violence, or intimidation, terrorism. All of that is curses. There is no curse, there is no cause in my life for any curses to be upon me. I've opened no doors and nothing. And so when things were done, back then, it was done, but at the same time there was, recognition of reality. The reality is there was no cause for no curses. There was recognition of reality. But now it's to the point, and at times and like what's in the future, like the gross darkness and I can see it already coming. Um, there is no like there's no like there's little recognition of reality. It's like because there's so much distortion that's going. That's why I make recordings like this because of the distortion. The distortion doesn't rest. There's constant distortion of it's like somebody tirelessly, is just hell bent on my destruction, in some way, shape, or form. And I don't fear it at all, because God is my keeper. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. And though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. For thy rod, thy staff, they comfort me. You know, and this is my reality. Regardless if it's recognized or not. And see, speak on these things to show and highlight the times that we in, man. The signs are all around us. He said there'll be a time like this, and the times are now. Things just like it's getting crazy. It's getting intense and crazy. I continue to do what God put in my heart though for as long as He let me. But I could tell and I could see the devil it's getting bolder. It gets bolder. And the only way he does that is by creating confusion and distortion around you first. Because if everything is seen in the light that it actually is, then there is no way he'd be anywhere near it. Because Satan hates the light. So he has to. It's just he creates confusion, distortion, and lies, misinformation, misrepresentation, all of that. In order to create the environment, the type of environment where he can move around in. and it's a spiritual environment. He can operate in those things, you know. And I see it. And then some of his, like if he could use anybody, then he'll have them feeling some way towards you. And then they feel some way towards you, then they don't care about rationality anyway. I just don't like this person or something. God taught us to love. God teach us that he sent his son here out of love, in the earth to love. Love is what God is. He's not hate, ain't anger. Envy, he's not none of that. He wants nothing more than all of his creation to be with him. You know, he wants to save everybody. He wants nobody in the pit, because that hell and the pit was made for Satan and his angels, fallen angels. And it wasn't made for human beings, but they got to go somewhere. You feel me? If sin is in, and so repentance is the mandate, is a must. But I have to, what I mean, I have to clarify, and keep this junk up to speed, man, because some aspects, I see, and then they fall down. Some aspects are not, no longer in operation. And other aspects just transform and they change into something with the different faces, you know, and us, but it's like now it's at the point where it's at the top. There's a glass ceiling, that you can reach. You feel me? There's a glass ceiling. But then when you break through that glass ceiling, then it's like you just in the unknown. And that's where, now is at. It's like in an unknown place, because that glass ceiling has been like it's been breached. You feel me? And so once that glass ceiling get breached, I mean it's the glass ceiling of success or of um of recognition of just living right in the light and also having a significant amount of influence. The glass ceiling for that. Under that glass ceiling, you good. You know, you go above the glass ceiling. Breach through, and that's what you have to do in order to walk for God. God don't create any kind of limits. Or He doesn't inhibit anybody to do His work. 'Cause His will is greater than one single person. So he wouldn't. He don't set such things to keep anybody barred down, like spiritually. So when a soul naturally, was seeing that this conceptual, glass ceiling, then it's like it's almost as if one thing that I hear a lot of, nobody cares. That's all good though, like I mean, it's not true. That's a lie from Satan. What I used to say, one thing I always used to say, never internalize lies. Don't internalize the lie. Feel me? Don't internalize any lies. You just don't internalize it, man. Don't listen to the lies of the devil. And the devil's lies are more than just word or verbal. His lies are more than verbal lies. Try to attack circumstances, curse your aspects of your life and all types of different things. Lies he have you believe about yourself. It go deep, say don't internalize the lies, go deep. It can be very, and it is, that's the nature of spiritual warfare. It's more than what meets the eye at all times, you know. But yeah, this is an update for me though in my life, my spiritual journey. Hoping to find somebody to get light, and be inspired by it maybe, or because I mean some don't do it for inspiration, but I'm one of the ones that, I feel like when you do something for God, then inadvertently it's go automatically fulfill His will in the lives of whoever it reaches, you know. And that's how it all. That's the natural flow of things. God operates in decency and in order. Decency and order. And not everything is for everybody. It's that's impossible. Not everything can appeal to everybody. It's not meant to. Just some. There's somebody out there that can you feel me that can feel it. You know, not everybody can feel it. You know, feel that energy, feel that spirit. You know, feel that love, feel the place that it's coming from, that place of sincerity. You know, the genuine place of of just hope. You know, love and desire for righteousness. You know, some can see that with discernment. But I'm gonna bring this one to a close though, man. Thanks to all my listeners, readers, and everybody, man. I got some more. I got some new work out, you know. I made a couple poems. You can check them out, you know. God's still in he's still working, man. God ain't finished, you know, and he ain't finished in nobody's life, you know, like all of his servants on the face of the earth, no matter what criteria they in, you know what I'm saying, no matter what calling they in, ministry, anointing or whatever, you know, it may be, you know, God ain't finished with it because there's more souls to reach and there's more good to do. And so, you know, we continue to grow in that, of course, you know. Might make some more recordings though. Be on the lookout though. I'm out of here though, P. God bless you.